regards to Robot Jesus and Butta, the first learning lessons and everything that came with that, and that, that confidence, actually being comfortable, that I had already made my first project before that called Thomas. It's called the Thomas EP. And that was just beats I ripped off YouTube from producers like Monty Booker, Montel 2099, U4, Decap, man, all fucking big SoundCloud legends now. Like, those guys are out doing their thing, getting crazy placements, numbers, tours, everything. So I just, when it came to Robot Jesus, I had never worked with a producer before on a project. I wasn't producing at this point. This was like mid 2017, beginning 2018. I was not producing at this point. I just had, one producer I was locking in, and that was Jachary. Shout out to Love Studios. And he was the person I locked in to make Robot Jesus. And I was, when you meet me, like, my energy is very enchanting and like very like my passion is there. It's very driven. So me and Jachary was just making different records, and I was comfortable with where the sound was at that time. Like, this guy was like the perfect dude to mesh with. Like, he's like, one word, the Eric Andre of music, straight up. And he it was just really comfortable working with him, man. And it wasn't too comfortable, like, oh, like, it's just like, nah, like, it was kind of groundbreaking in some ways, and kind of left, and all that production, to see it made from scratch, like, no, like, digital synths, none of that bullshit, like, all live instruments, printed, mixed, everything there. It was just like, holy shit. I'd say the lesson that came with that, when I put that project out, was like rollout. Like, at that time, I still hadn't had a full team yet. Only was working with one person on the back end, and there's but much they could do due to, the circumstances of where my artistry was then, in terms of numbers, analytics, all that shit. So, what came with that was like having a proper rollout. Though that's, that project came with like press, Lyrical Lemonade wrote on that project about, they wrote on the first leading single, the second leading single, and they wrote on the whole project. Office Mag wrote on that project. Milk Mag wrote on that project. Though, like, the biggest lesson was just like rollout, because as much as press as I got for that, like, I didn't really get the numbers I wanted till very later, when I figured out what rollout really is, and was like, let me actually just, put this on the, on the side, pump up these numbers real quick on this shit, and then with Butta was like, because you see, I had put these projects out kind of like in a very short term. Like, I put Robot Jesus out November 2018, then I put out Butta January 2019. And I remember I kept telling myself, like, yo, Robot Jesus should have been the one you put the buttons on, and Butta should have been the one. No, Butta should have been the one you put the brakes on. Robot Jesus should have been the one, like, and Robot Jesus was a project not Robot Jesus, Butta, excuse me. It was a project I was creating from that's summer of 2017. The idea came to me very vaguely earlier that year, shortly after releasing my project Thomas on SoundCloud. And for that one, I was just so comfortable. Like I said, I was really like I'm mad driven, yo. So when I'm mad driven, I just have all this confidence, bro, in my art and my work. And I know that I already set a standard to myself and a niche with the music I was already putting out. And it was like, yo, there's no pressure. I'm gonna fucking meet that shit and go higher. So, that project was really supposed to be a mixtape where I got a bunch of features. Oshun was on that project. My son Big Dog Stro was on that project. Shout out Stro. Latasha, she's doing amazing out in LA. Who else was on that project? Simba, my boy Simba, man. He killed that shit. And the only thing I don't regret though, I was just like, the only thing that like I wish was done better was just like execution, man. Feel me? I feel like that project could have been executed much more better. I feel like more content could have been made for it. Once again, it all goes back to rollout. It's like everything. I've always had it from getting my shit mixed, because I mix my own shit. Feel me? So if I'm not mixing it, I'm gonna send it to somebody else. I've always had it when making cover. I've always had it when getting the content. There was just like actual rollout, you know, and our lyrical wrote up on that project too. Though like with that project, I just wish it had gotten the actual numbers it deserved. And that was just because, you know, I didn't know. I didn't have the knowledge then on how to, you know, assemble a right rollout, get the right PR behind it, get the right playlisting behind it, get the right content, you know, post on socials one day, on your story the next, you know, the right influencer outreach. So yeah, man,